Good morning, boys and girls. You are welcome to yet another session, Common Course A01, Transactions, Essential English Language Skills. To recapitulate, we are in the fourth module of the syllabus. To recapitulate what we were doing in the last two sessions, in the first session of Module 4, I gave you an introduction to the importance of speaking skills. As learners of English, it is essential that you develop your speaking skills because it will assess, or it will be a kind of a parameter to assess your ability to communicate, and that's why speaking skills are important. And as a learner of English, in order to develop your communication skills, it is essential that you know the basics about speaking skills and how to develop them. Now, in the first session of the module, I gave you an introduction, and I told you speaking is one of the most basic skills in communication. In a situation like that, the one we have in Kerala, it is essential to be able to speak in a wide range of contexts or situations. So they need to develop the ability to manage functional exchanges. And basically, I told you this speaking skill is broadly divided into two categories. That is, it has two functions. One is transactional function, and I explained to you the meaning of the term transactional. And the other is interpersonal. Interpersonal means man as a social being, he need to come in contact with his fellow beings, and how speaking skill development is important for this. I gave you some examples. I told you this module is broadly divided into two parts. Part 1, everyday transactions, and part 2, academic communication. In everyday transactions, that part is divided into 7 frames, and I was trying to tell you about the first frame and also the beginning, or we just started with the second frame, if you remember that. I gave you some examples, that is how the way you speak determines your personality to a large extent. One has to be very polite. Sounding polite was the first frame which we dealt with. And what is the importance of, or what is primarily the importance of being polite? Now, I told you asking questions and replying to them. We do it in our everyday life. These questions may be to seek help, to get information, to get direction, to get someone. Very, very day-to-day, very mundane example is that of to get some money, borrow some money from somebody. You have to be very polite because the money is somebody else's. So if you want to get it for your use, you have to be very polite. So that way, pay attention. I asked you to pay particular attention to a few phrases. For example, you remember, I am afraid. I am afraid. It has nothing to do with the word afraid, but I admit with regret. That is the meaning. I'm afraid. In the same way, I told you about the speciality of the phrase, I'm fine. I'm fine is usually a response to a question like, how are you? I'm fine. But it has in another context, it means something else. Usually, it is an answer to the question, how are you? But it is also used to mean that I can do it myself. And when somebody is in the shop, and suppose you want somebody is with you, and he or she asks you, can I help you to select the material for your dress? And you say, I am fine. I am fine means I can do it myself. In the same way, I told you, with pleasure and my pleasure. With pleasure means it means gladly. It expresses polite agreement or acceptance. With pleasure. My pleasure is actually a response to somebody thanking you. Say suppose somebody was in need of a pen, and you give him a pen, and he says thank you, and you respond to that thank you by saying it's my pleasure. So this way, my pleasure is also important. It is an important, all these are very important gestures or responses by which you sound very polite. Now I would like to read to you a small passage from the text. That is, yeah, that's right. Now here is a small situation given, and you are supposed to find out or observe the situation and how responses are given in a polite manner. Suppose you have a car. You have to get to the same place as Ahmed, who does not have a car. You want to give him a lift. You say to Ahmed, what do you say to Ahmed? Can I offer you a ride? Can I offer you a ride? This is a very humble way of, or very polite way of asking him or offering a favor or a help to somebody. Another example is, say for example, there are two people. Example is two people speaking, Rajiv and John. John does not have enough money to go to a movie tonight. He wants to borrow some money from Rajiv, who is his roommate. Listen to the dialogue. There is a movie I really want to watch tonight, but don't have enough money right now. Now he asks the question, could I borrow some money? See, could I borrow some money? That is an expression to show that you are speaking in a polite manner. Could I borrow some money? I will pay you back on Friday. Say another, sure, no problem. How much do you need? Is the response of Rajiv. Another conversation, another situation. Rahul is walking down the hall of his office building. He needs to know what time it is. He asks Reshma, a colleague he has seen before but has never met. What would be the conversation? First of all, we start with wishing, oh, good morning. And of course, the person responds by saying, good morning to you. Now he says, I have seen you somewhere, but we have not met yet. He says, I am working in the Reliance Fresh in the same floor as you work. Yeah, we have seen quite some time, but not met yet. He says, I am Reshma, working in the Reliance Fresh. And he says, it is nice meeting you. It's nice meeting you. Now, what I want to know is, I would like to know what time it is. Oh, sure, it is 10 o'clock now. It is 10 o'clock now. That is the conversation. One more example. Renu is trying to study. Her roommate, Rinsi, is playing a CD very loudly, and this bothers Renu. Renu, who is trying to be polite, even though she feels frustrated and little angry. Even when you are little frustrated and angry, you have to be very careful about the words you use, the language you use. You have to always sound polite. So the question asked by Renu is, excuse me, can you put down the volume of your CD player a little, please? Can you put down the volume of your CD player a little, please? Oh, sorry, I didn't notice it was too loud. I'm sorry. I'll reduce the volume right now, and I feel really sorry for disturbing you. See, this is the kind of conversation. In the same way, look at the situations given here. That is, you are given an opportunity to ask a question, a polite question in the following situations. Suppose you are in a kitchen. You are new to the kitchen, and you ask, could you tell me where you have kept the chili powder, please? Could you tell me polite? Could you tell me where the chili powder is? Oh, it is in the second shelf. It is in the second shelf. That is a kitchen. That is a kitchen situation. Again, in a hostel, suppose you are in a hostel and you want a textbook from your friend. Now, suppose the friend is in the other room, and you go to him or her and again ask this simple question, sounding very polite. Could I borrow your physics textbook for a few hours, please? Could I borrow your physics textbook for a few hours, please? That's the kind of question, polite question you ask when a friend in a situation like that of a hostel. One more example I give you, that is, while you are in a shop, you ask the salesman or salesgirl there, that is, could you show me that red color material for a while? Red color material, could you? Now, can I have a look at, see, this is the way, can I have a look at the red material which is there on the stack? So that is the way you ask polite questions that will really impress the listener, and will understand that you are a gentleman of the first order who uses language in a polite manner. Now, frame two, which we are going to deal with today, is giving opinions and preferences. In our day-to-day life, in plenty of occasions, we may have to express our opinion. And also, when somebody asks you a question, you may have to express your preference. Say, preference, simple example is, you go to a friend's house and her mother asks you, would you like to have some coffee or tea? Would you like to have coffee or tea? You say your preference. I prefer coffee to tea. I prefer coffee to tea, please. So that is the way you respond. That is actually giving your preference. And opinion, yeah, every day so many people ask you different questions when you are in different situations where you may have to express your opinion. So this frame 2, deals with Frame 2 deals with giving opinions and preferences. That is what I have written. We are in Common Course A01, Transactions, Essential English Language Skills, Module 4, Speaking Skills, Frame 3, Giving Opinions and Preferences. Okay. Now, yes. In our day-to-day life, in our day-to-day life situations, when we have to express our agreement or disagreement with views and actions of people, we express them. A good communicator should express your opinions, should express your preferences in a very polite manner, in a pleasing manner, in such a way that it will be a pleasure to listen to you. For the listener, it will be a pleasure to listen to you. Now, in this particular frame, giving opinions and preferences, we have phrases and expressions to give opinions and preferences. Now, I am going to read a conversation between father and son about a particular issue at home. Now, you are living in an ancestral house. So, your father's father has given the house to your father, and your father and you are living in that house. Now, of course, it is an old house, and so in order to make it more convenient, your father has a plan to reconstruct with modifications. It is actually a modification of the old house. He draws out a plan and brings it before you, and listen to the conversation between father and son. Now, well, this is actually a conversation between father and son. Now, yeah. Yes. Now, father says, "Good morning, son. I would like to show you a plan which I have drawn up in order to reconstruct or modify our house." The response of the son is, "Well, I would rather prefer to construct a new house rather than modifying and reconstructing the old house. Old is old, and the expenses incurred in order to repair or remodify a house, reconstruct an old house, is more expensive than building a new house. So I would rather prefer," the son says, "I would rather prefer to build a new house altogether, completely, rather than make repairs and modify the old house." So he says it in a tone which is very acceptable to father, and at last father tells him that, "I will think over your suggestion. I will think over your suggestion. Now, listen to another conversation. That is, Suma, Farah, and Marin, classmates at High Brains College, are making plans for the coming weekend. Go through the conversation, listen to the conversation, and pay attention to expressions and phrases that you find interesting and relevant. Say, Suma starts the conversation. Suma: hi friends, good morning. It's Thursday today. Do you have any plans for this weekend? Farah: good morning, Suma. So far, nothing. I think going for a movie will be nice during the weekend. Now, I would prefer, see, here she expresses preference. I would prefer not to. Cinemas. Cinemas is the cinemas that are currently showing in the cinema houses, and she suggests a few names, and Suma says, I can't say that I share your view. See, this is a beautiful way of expressing your difference of opinion. Now, I can't say that I share your views. Disagreement. How beautifully the disagreement is expressed there. I can't say I share your views on the film. A few reviews of the film I have read unanimously say that it's worth watching. It seems that we can count on them. Farah: I agree with Suma. I have seen its trailer. It's really exciting. Marin: if you two agree on going, I can see no reason. Again, a beautiful expression. I can see no reason to oppose it. Means I agree with you. Don't you think meeting at Summer Pizza House will be a nice idea? I have not been there for a long time, the meeting place. It's good, but I am afraid, disagreement. But I am afraid we won't have enough time to spend there. I think it would be better to go there after the film. Farah: what do you think? Farah: I am with you on this. A beautiful expression again. I am with you on this means I completely agree with you. I am with you on this. Where should we meet? Or when should we meet? Well, the movie is showing at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. I prefer the first show at 2 p.m. That's exactly what I had in mind. We can meet at Summer Pizza House at 5:15. That will give us plenty of time to enjoy our pizza. Marin asks a question. My cousin Drishya is in town. Can I bring her along? Suma: I would disagree with the idea. It seems we won't have privacy if somebody else comes. Now, it's Drishya, your cousin, is a nice person, I know. Maybe a nice person whom I know, but it seems we won't have privacy. Farah: I couldn't agree with you more. I also endorse that idea. I am also of the opinion that a third person or a fourth person in our company will affect the privacy that we want to enjoy. It's clear that you would rather I didn't bring her along. That's right. Let there be only 3 of us. Agreed? Sure. So, we plan to go to the movie at 2, have pizza after the movie, and shop at Michael's afterward. Right? Sarah: exactly. Till then, bye. Marin: see you soon. Now, I would like to pinpoint, I would like to highlight the phrases used in order to express agreement. opinion, agreement. When somebody says an idea, how do you agree with that? The very plain language is, I agree with your idea. I agree with your suggestion. I am with you. I am with you is another beautiful expression to show that you agree with the person. I am with you. I would not agree with you more means I completely agree with you. Look at that phrase or expression. I could not agree with you more means I completely agree with you. Now, what are the phrases or what are the expressions used to express disagreement? I can't say that I share your view. See, beautiful way of expressing your opinion. That is, I can't say that I share your view. I am afraid we didn't have enough time. We may not have enough time. I am afraid we may not have enough time. I could disagree with this idea. That's how you express your disagreement. Again, how do you express? Very easy. How do you express your preferences? I would prefer not to go to the movie today. Now, it is your preference. I prefer the first. There are two shows, one at 2 p.m. and another at 4 p.m. I would prefer the first show. Now, I would rather go to a movie tonight than study. Your preference, because we have just finished our exams, and so I would rather go to a movie tonight than study. Again, I would rather study history than biology. Now, if you need not repeat the same verb. I would rather study history than economics or biology. Now, would rather express preference. So would rather is the very common, very popular expression to show your preference, to express your preference. That is, would rather. In the same way, notice that the simple form of a verb follows both would, rather, and than. This is the way how to express your opinions. Now, expressing preference, would rather. Well, I'll give you a situation. What would you rather do than to go to class? Somebody is asking a question. What would you rather do than go to class? I would rather play cricket than go to the class. That is your preference. In the same way, do you want to go to a movie tonight or something else? Now, I would rather go to the zoo tonight or today evening. I would rather go to the zoo, or I would rather go to the playground tomorrow. In the same way, do you want to play tennis this afternoon? No, I would rather play cricket. Now, do you want to play tennis this afternoon? No, I would rather prefer to play cricket. These are the expressions, and some more expressions in this particular frame. That is, I think it has pros and cons. In my view. Now, when you want to express your opinion, in my view, you say that. And then, do you think going shopping on Sunday is a good idea? It's not a bad idea. It's not worth the effort. So these are the particular or the special ways in which you express your opinion and your preferences. Now, in the next frame, that is frame 3, we are going to deal with taboos. What is taboos, and what is special about conversational taboos? Perhaps we will we will talk or we will discuss when we meet in the next session. So till we meet in the next session, thank you for listening to me and have a good day.